Welcome back. House lawmakers passing a war powers resolution yesterday aimed at limiting President Trump's use of military force in Iran. The vote 224 to 194, with 8 Democrats voting against it. But 3 Republicans voted for it. Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz was among them, one of the GOP members backing the war powers resolutions. He explains why. Watch this.
I think this war powers resolution was worthy of support because it did not criticize the president. It did not say he was wrong in killing Soleimani, but it did say that if any president wants to drag our nation into another forever Middle East war, that they require the approval of the United States Congress. My belief that declaring war is a non-delegable duty of the United States Congress, and it's ludicrous for any of my colleagues to suggest that we have to not do our job so that people in uniform can do theirs.
Joining us right now is Texas Congressman, member of the House Rules and Energy and Commerce Committees, Michael Burgess. Congressman, it's always good to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning, Maria.
How did you vote yesterday?
Well, I voted against the concurrent resolution because actually it wasn't a war powers resolution. It was a resolution designed to damage the president, and I think that was pretty obvious. If you listened to the debate yesterday afternoon, that was entirely what was on the minds of the party that brought that resolution to the floor. Look, we got that maybe 40 minutes before it was introduced in the Rules Committee the night before. There was very little chance to debate that in the Rules Committee. Many of us have felt for some time that, yes, Congress does need to reassert its authority with regards to the authorization for use of military force. There has not been a legitimate vote on an authorization like that since I came to Congress. The Congresses, the administrations have been operating under 2001 and 2002 authorizations. Yeah, I agree with Representative Gaetz in that regard. This is our obligation. This is something we should do. But the bill yesterday, the concurrent resolution yesterday, was not that. That was a bill that was designed to hurt the president. And look, we're at a place right now where we ought to be supportive of the things that are going on. Honestly, the death of General Soleimani is something that this country will look back on as a positive inflection point.
Because the rules are that he has to, the administration, the executive powers has to check with Congress if it's just beginning a war or invasion. But if you're responding to something, then the president should have the executive power. That's where it stands today.
Yeah, and people, if they doubt, Google the Baghdad embassy and look at the pictures of the internal pictures of that embassy after that attack that this general orchestrated. This general was responsible for. Under the agreement with Iran under President Obama, this general was not supposed to leave Iran. What was he doing in Iraq in the first place? Well, what he was doing was touching base with all of his cronies across the region, and he was preparing to launch a much more major attack.
Yeah.
Actionable intelligence was gathered, and the opportunity to take him out occurred. Look, when I got to Congress in the early 2000s, there was discussion about Bill Clinton having the ability to take out bin Laden in the late 1990s, and he didn't do it. Well, then when General Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, talks about how we would be culpably negligent if we didn't do this, it really became pretty clear. But the point of the bill yesterday, the point of the concurrent resolution yesterday, was to damage the president.
Right.
Look, this is really unfortunate. We've had impeachment. We've had this vote yesterday. All of the things we should be doing, everything that the United States House of Representatives is doing right now under Democratic leadership is designed to harm the president, and that's just wrong. There are things we could do together. I know it's a political year. I know it's a presidential election year, but this sort of stuff, impeachment and trying to damage the president when he's protecting the country, this just doesn't fly.
Congressman Rob Smith here. I'm a Iraq War veteran myself. You know, we're going on 17 years of this war in Iraq. And how would you respond to people who say that this resolution would help to stop a repeat of the situation that we have going on in Iraq? And also, you just alluded to this idea of things that you guys can do together to sort of prevent that. And what would those ideas be?
Well, a true authorization for use of military force would come through the Foreign Affairs Committee. There would be witnesses, there would be debate, there would be an opportunity for many members who aren't on the committee to weigh in. The thing is, the action taken that was brought up to the House Rules Committee presumed that the president was going to launch an invasion into the country of Iran, which isn't true. When you look at the language of the concurrent resolution, it says that the invasion of, or the activity in Iran must stop. Well, there is no activity in Iran right now. Soleimani was taken out, true, but that was in the country of Iraq, where he wasn't supposed to be.
Right, yes.
Look, 2011, the President Obama removed all of the troops from Iraq. Probably would have been the point at which to deauthorize that prior authorization. Is it correct to continue to use that? Well, we should have that debate as well. But you don't do that when you're in the middle of actually protecting the country.
So Congressman, one source yesterday told me that he thinks that she's going to send the articles of impeachment over to the Senate today. We'll see. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi obviously is sitting on this, holding off on sending those articles over to the Senate, now facing criticism from members of her own party. Despite the pushback, though, she's holding firm. Watch this. Got to get your reaction.
Sure.
No, I'm not holding him indefinitely. I'll send him over when I'm ready. And that will probably be soon. We want to see what they're willing to do and the manner in which they will do it. But we will not let them say, oh, this is just like Clinton, fair is fair. It's not. Documentation, witnesses, facts, truth. That's what they're afraid of.
What's your reaction, Congressman?
I honestly don't know what to say. The Speaker at this point has one job, and that job is to take those articles off the Speaker's desk and take them over to the Senate and deliver them to the Majority Leader in the United States Senate. That's really not it's almost as if that's not a constitutional responsibility. That's a bookkeeping responsibility. It ought to happen. The president needs a chance to acquit himself. The president needs a chance to defend himself. That trial will happen in the Senate. Let's get on with that. It is not helping us, and you can see this. I mean, the fallout from the vote that we took yesterday internationally, I suspect, could be significant. The fallout from the impeachment vote could be significant. Why are we hampering a president who's done more than any other president with which I've served? This has been, yes, it's been an active administration. Yes, there's days the road has been bumpy, but more has been accomplished in the last 3 years than the last 10 years. So this is an important time for us. Let's get through this, acquit the president, and then get on with business.
It's quite extraordinary. Real quick, have you heard when she's going to send them over? Did you hear that rumor that it could be today?
Well, I've heard that rumor. It could be today for several weeks now.
Okay.
Yeah, you would presume that she would want to bury it late on a Friday afternoon, and so it misses the news cycle. But then the news cycle, as you know, never stops because you'll be on Sunday morning talking about it.
That's right.
So
I sure
there you
will.
are.
Congressman, thank you. We will be covering that on
you.
Sunday Morning Futures for sure. Congressman Michael Burgess, it's good to see you, sir.